Okay, now we just have to wait for like people to hop in the chat.
I mean, I talk by myself, to myself. I don't need people. I'm good. I'm good. I don't think our mic is working, but that's okay.
No, it's not.
I want to guard your privacy and fine. Oh, well, that might be a problem.
Is anybody out there?
I mean, it is a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, Zach is out there. Alex, Zach.
Oh, geez.
Haley.
Oh, my goodness. There's people.
There are people. Dax, hello. Stephen Losi. Okay, I was hoping you would join, Stephen. Because I totally misunderstood your sarcasm in your super chat, and I apologize 1,000,000,000%. Because it was an ongoing joke that all the trolls talk about, when I was doing the vertical live streaming, that I was high in all of my videos. And Steven sent me a super chat. And I bragged on one of my recent videos on how much I understand sarcasm. And then Steven came in clutch with the sarcasm, and I didn't pick up on it. So, Steven, my friend, I apologize. I appreciate you being here, though. I'm so glad that you're here. I was really hoping that you would jump on this live stream so that I could apologize to you. Mr. Daydreamer 1584, the star of the show of one of my more recent videos that asked a question. Okay. I apologize. Shape of Soup. How's it going, man?
Mr. Jen. How's it going, Shape? Thank you, Zach, for the Father's Day.
Yeah, so I wanted to open up with that. Obviously, here in the Northern Hemisphere, is that what you call us? The Northern Hemisphere?
I would call us America.
Yeah,
Jay.
Here in America, it's gonna be Father's Day tomorrow, so I just wanted to say, like, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You're doing an amazing job. I know that being a dad is tough. Being a parent is tough in general because we always feel like we're getting it wrong. And at the end of the day, as long as you like love your kids and you show them that you love your kids, if you're feeding them junk food, if you're letting them have some screen time, if you like, we all feel guilty, and I just want to let you know that you're amazing. You're awesome. You're doing a great job taking care of your kids. I'm a cat dad, so tough.
I mean, I was a cat dad once. They can be a handful.
Not really.
Leroy was a handful.
So, anyways, I'm sure you're all curious on why we're doing this. Let me explain some things. We wanted to do a video. Actually, we recorded 2 videos. When I first started my YouTube channel, we recorded like 2 videos, and the lighting was going down and like everything, just like, they were some great videos, but like the lighting sucked and everything else. And I know some people listen to these videos just kind of like they're like podcasts or whatever, and that's fine. But anyways, they both got scrapped. And so I found a lot less pressure in these lives. And so I figured we would just like hop on and do it this way to talk about what it's like being in a neurotypical and neurodivergent marriage, diverse marriage. Because we have learned a lot. We didn't get together knowing that I was neurodiverse. And we've had a lot of misunderstandings along the way, I guess I would say. But so another part of the reason why we wanted to do this is because, and by the way, I have this mic here, but I feel like it's kind of a prop at this point because it's great when I record videos, but the last live that I did, which was like a couple of days ago, it wasn't working. It wasn't on. And so then Orion, Mr. effing Orion Kelly, that autistic guy, put together a live where he said the title of the live was "That's not a mic. This is a mic," giving myself and Taylor Heaton, mom on the spectrum, a hard time because we both got new mics, and her and I both got this mic here, the Shure, even though Orion was like suggesting the podcaster mic, so like PDA, I don't know what happened there, but we didn't take him up on his advice. So it was like, that's not a mic, this is a mic, and his is great, and mine didn't work in the last live stream. And so I feel like it's kind of a prop again, because Orion in that live stream said that when I went live, that there should be a screen that says like how I want the audio output to be, but it didn't work. So anyways, let's just pretend. Okay, guys, let's use our imagination. Let's pretend like this mic is good. So anyways, part of the reason why we wanted to do this live stream, I did have a Yeti, Zach, and that sucked bad. That's a story for another day. But part of the reason why we wanted to do this live stream was because there are a lot of couples out there who Mike has PDA. Joe, that's a new name. Okay, stop laughing because
I can't help it. It's people talking to me.
Okay, you're just sitting there reading the live stream and you're
because you're doing all the talking.
You're giggling. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to stay on track, guys. So the reason why we wanted to do this is because there are plenty of couples out there who realize that they're a neurodiverse couple where the female is the neurotypical and the male is the neurodivergent. Why? Because as we know, females are typically missed. Okay, so like if I record this into a video, I might have to cut out like 20 minutes of this back crap because we want to. So he was actually looking for a lot of podcasts on neurodiverse marriages where the female was the neurodiverse one and the male was the typical one. And then you actually joined a Facebook group. I can't look at you. You actually joined a Facebook group where they actually set up, support for neurotypical males of neurodivergent women. And nobody has said a thing because guys don't talk, right? So
we don't.
So anyways, there's not a whole lot of couples out there where the female is the neurodivergent and the male is the neurotypical. And so we wanted to make this a video, but we tried it a couple of times and we figured going live would be a little bit more lax. So kind of want to catch up on some chats. Scott R, hey guys. Joe says the mic has PDA. Yeah, we did that. Zach says, really, it's what I use for Twitch. Yeah, so it didn't work very well for me. And Joe says, I come and go. Stephen Losi, my NT wife and I are watching this. It's interesting to seeing the opposite side. Jonathan, oh my God, hello, Jonathan. I don't know that I've seen you before. So yeah, Stephen, I think that there's so many couples out there that are, doing what you experience, which is the NT wife and the neurodivergent husband, because women struggle getting diagnosed. So you guys,
and I feel like there are a lot more women who are in a service or codependent mindset or behavior. That's just how they're wired, and it's there's a lot out there for that setup. It's our setup that's very different.
Yep. 100%. Joe says Chris and Debbie posted a couples video yesterday. That's awesome. I'll have to go and check that out. I know that they've kind of branded their channel as like Chris and Debbie, and I comment on his videos because I think he's awesome. But they kind of do a lot more of like he talks a lot more, and she's been in a few, but they work very similar to how him and I work, but the neurodivergence is opposite, obviously. So I do kind of try to structure these lives. I know that there's a lot of lives where it's just kind of like chaotic and everything else. Jonathan says, I found your channel like 4 days ago. That's awesome. I appreciate that. So I do know that there's like, a lot of like loosey goosey lives out there, and I like that too. But I do kind of want to try to keep this structured enough to talk about what it's like being in a neurotypical and neurodivergent marriage, especially where the genders are reversed. And one of the main things that I want to talk about is that, first of all, we are not relationship experts. There are a lot of relationship experts out there, I think, or coaches that kind of are more on the either, psychologist side or life coach side. We are not that. We can only share our experience. That's all we can do. But like Jody Carlton was one of the ones that Mark who's give me a second. Mark Hutton.
Yeah.
Mark Hutton is a good one. And Jody Carlton. So if you guys are looking for advice, or you guys are looking for like somebody who knows what they're talking about, somebody who is like a actual like mental health experts. We are not mental health experts, but one of the things that kind of blew both of our minds away was when we were watching Jody Carlton, and she was talking about codependency. And so I've talked about a few times how certain personality types attract with autism. And one of the personality types that can attract to an autistic person is a narcissist, unfortunately, which is rife for abuse. But the other one that can attract to a autistic person is something that is called a codependent. And that is not gender exclusive. It applies to males and females. And basically, I mean, I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna kind of explain it that like, us on the spectrum seem a little bit more, I guess you would say, innocent or in need of help, or like innocent and playful. And somebody who wants to fill a need comes in and sees that need, sees that like we need help. Now, don't get me wrong. We're all strong, confident people. We can take care of ourselves for the most part.
Babies.
Scrappy babies. That's what you call me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my nickname, is Scrappy Baby. But to some extent, we do seem like we're floundering in life and we're struggling. And people who are codependent, so Jody was talking about codependency, and that just kind of blew both of our minds because it explained everything that you were. And what I'm gonna let you, I swear to God, I'm gonna let him talk, guys. It's gonna happen.
No,
He's
she
gonna be able
doesn't.
to talk.
I'm pretty. I'm pretty. I sit here and look pretty.
I'm gonna let him talk. But I'm not trying to paint us as like dysfunctional. This is context for kind of how certain personality types or neurotypes can attract. Okay. It works out well for us, so I'm going to give you the floor and kind of let you talk about what codependency, what the causes of codependency are, why you want to take care of other people, what happens from your childhood, and what brings you in to want to take care of other people. But you also respect me and
Yeah,
all
of
that
course.
stuff. But
Like that's a lot. We're going deep. We're gonna start deep. All right. Codependency is basically catering to the emotional needs of other people. That's how it starts, is in your childhood, where a parent or a person of authority over you, their emotional balance is imbalanced, and you cater to the things that you know to bring them balance. I do want to kind of take a little caveat away and address Haley, because you are in a very typical situation where you're the neurodivergent wife with a neurotypical husband. So if you have any questions, please ask. I will give you the most honest, less hurtful answer, because I am a codependent. And it's interesting because the codependency, people want to work you away from that and your own identity and your own purpose. And it, for me, investing in my family is my purpose. So I do need to cater to Jen and her needs. And when she's feeling overwhelmed by peopling, or knowing the structure of our week and how that might affect her spoons. I don't know if anybody's familiar with spoon theory. I'm sure she's talked about all kinds of things. I've listened to a lot of her stuff. I don't know what you've listened to. But from a codependency standpoint, it's basically catering to other people. I just get to do it from a husband and father perspective, as opposed to somebody under the person whose emotional needs we're catering to.
so Jonathan said, "Blink twice if you need help, Jay."
What's 6 times? What does that mean? No,
it means you actually need help.
I don't need help.
I do want to chat about like the so the psychological causes of codependency, which, please understand, people, there are neurological issues which comes from birth, which is like autism and stuff like that, and then there are things that are environmental, which is like codependency. And so codependency oftentimes comes from childhood, where you for you, like you walking on eggshells with your father.
My dad trained field medics for the Army. He got paid to say the most messed up stuff to human beings and break them. He didn't leave that at work. He brought that home. There were a lot of discipline that I went through as a child that grown adults were going through. And he couldn't separate the two. He couldn't separate work life and home life. So we did basically fall in line like a military person would, like a private in the military.
Like he would come home and like tell you to take off his boots
Yep.
And he would yell at you to grab him a tool, and you'd be like, which one? And he'd be like, get angry.
He would say, grab that. And he wouldn't, there was no like area to grab from. There was no description of the thing I was supposed to grab.
He didn't specify the tool. The point is that like there was some like you felt like you were walking on eggshells all the time, and that his emotional well-being was your responsibility, right? Would that be a good characterization of it? And so that can kind of carry over into adulthood. And
it does, unless you get therapy for it. Like that's really the only way to find your personal identity. Codependency that is put into that young of a person becomes a CPTSD, like writing in your operating code as a child. So you operate that way your whole life.
Just said that's like my mom without the military part. Yeah, man, I get it. That was kind of like my dad too. But again, we're not trying to present ourselves as like completely like broken people. We're just kind of trying to describe personality types and how actually our I guess situation kind of works well, because you are, I don't know how to describe it. You're a little bit more catering to like
I am aware
my
of your needs.
Yeah, you're more
I pay
aware.
extra attention to your needs. I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells with you.
Right.
That's the big difference for how that translates into my current relationship.
So I feel like people kind of need to hear the backstory on how we met and everything else, because we've been together. Okay, so how we met was at work. We met at
big box retail.
Big box retail. He was a manager. I was a lowly cashier. And I was 19 years old, and you're like 8 years older than that, whatever that math works out to be. And I was actually a single mom, and feeling like my options had run out because, like, damn it, I had a baby outside of marriage. And you didn't care about that, and you thought I was cute.
I was 27. I was ready to have a family.
You were ready to have a family, and that did not affect you. And I thought you were cute. And so that's kind of how our story started. Because I do feel like I'm trying to figure out how to like structure this, you guys, because in my mind I'm like, do we talk about like how we met, how long we've been together, what the how the relationship works? But we have been together since my daughter was 3 months old, and you call her your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one son together who is autistic because of me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Not a problem.
And so you have 2 Aspies in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you were actually the one that kind of told me that I was probably on the spectrum. You don't like to say that, but the truth of the matter is that you are the one who pointed it out to me.
All I said was 80% of the time it's genetic. It's inherited. I did not say which of us I felt it was. I just left it for you to figure out.
But it was like instantaneous. Like the minute you said that, I was like, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me, because I felt different my whole life, and I've just been anyways. So
can I address shenanigans real quick?
Yes. You have to read the username, and then you have to read the comment.
The entire okay. Shenanigans said I was in a codependent relationship with my ex. Too bad I didn't know about that or my neurodivergence till years later after the divorce. Might have been helpful information. Yes. Um, our dynamic shift in our relationship after she was diagnosed has been exponentially better.
Yeah. So I think that that's kind of a great segue into some of the misunderstandings we had before my diagnosis. Can we go
Oh,
into that?
yes. I've got one.
Oh, yes, we have several. Joe says nowadays, would you just have sent Jen a YouTube video outlining reasons why ND makes sense? I don't have the capacity to explain what I mean to my partner. That's excellent. That was perfect. Maybe.
Um,
Actually,
I
that.
I I would not go that route. I would like for Jen, her dad was definitely on the spectrum.
Because
So
you've met the man.
so it's putting likeness to that piece, like the people in her life that are related to her that are diverse, like hands down diverse. And then working that back genetically, like, hey, there's a genetic link.
But it is kind of funny because, like, a lot of the people in the neurodiverse relationship groups we're a part of, they're like, "How do I explain this to how do I tell my partner they're neurodivergent?" Like, there's a whole lot of people out there that are like, "How do I tell
And
my neurodivergent partner
ultimately,
they're."
we aren't the diagnosticians.
Orion Kelly's here with his
Oh,
popcorn.
geez, this guy.
He's
Hey,
he's
Orion.
he said, he's here to, like, watch this shit go down in flames. It is
Oh, great.
interesting because I will say that, like, it must be the day of the week because it's like there's only like 33 people here or whatever. But this will still be able to be rewatched later and will be very valuable information. Um, so we were going to kind of get into thanks for being here, Orion. We really appreciate that. Um, so we were kind of beginning to talk about like some of the misunderstandings that we had before my diagnosis. But to kind of tie up what we were talking about with shenanigans, is that, like, in a lot of the neurodiverse relationship groups that we're a part of, that is literally what they're like. What article, what YouTube video do I send my partner to tell them that they're autistic? And it's like, you can't do that, man. You gotta, like, let them get there on their own. And it didn't take him that long because he was like, I was just telling him a story about somebody who had a kid that was possibly on the spectrum, and they were asking me about the genetics of it, and he was like, "Well," and I was like, "That's stupid because it's not genetic; it's happenstance, right? Our son our son was autistic because of happenstance, right?" And he was like, "Well, actually," and I was like, what the hell? Like, it didn't take me a YouTube video. It didn't take me that long to figure it out. Orion, before we get into some of the misunderstandings, dude, there was no screen to hook up the mic. So you're going to have to give me tech support afterwards. And please don't make the first question you ask me if the mic was plugged in, because yes, it's plugged in. So moving on from that, let's chat about. No, that's the camera. Don't do that one. So,
I mean, it was already plugged in. I was just making it was firmly seated.
okay, so let's talk about some of the misunderstandings that we had before I was diagnosed, which
Oh, okay. We want to start from the the not knowing piece
yes,
and the behaviors that
duh,
were there.
duh.
So
That's what we're talking about here before I was diagnosed.
so I came up in a military background. You have to have an answer the minute I ask the question. That's kind of how I was. I would ask a question, and if you didn't give me an immediate response, I would escalate in anger and I don't want to say aggression because it wasn't. I don't feel like it was aggressive. You might have a different experience.
No, you just got frustrated because I would shut down and not answer you
Yes.
right away.
And
Orion, yes, it's a prop at this point because I can't figure out how to connect it.
why are you acting like props are bad? Props are good. Movies are full of props.
We're just gonna keep pretending. Okay.
I got Yoda on my shirt. That's prop heaven. Star Wars is prop heaven.
I love it, Orion. Okay, but yeah, so I think when we would have difficult conversations or disagreements,
Mm-hmm.
you would want responses and I would shut down.
And the shutdown was part of the processing time. Like I was pushing against that processing time, and you would just shut down, and that would just make things worse.
You really thought that was me, like, acting like I didn't care about you. I didn't care about your concerns. I didn't want to respond to that. I was, but really it was a processing time, which neither one of us understood before that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. Another thing was like the whole like gaslighting thing that you thought that I was doing to you because it was absolutely a difference in communication styles. You thought that I was gaslighting you whenever we would talk because it was just purely a mismatch of
Advocating
communication.
for the other side was a big one because the double empathy that you have, you were trying to help me see how the other side was thinking, and I didn't want to hear it, which is weird, because in school I did debate, I did like all the nerd things, so I should have been more open, but like in emotional heightened response, that's not gonna happen.
No, yeah. So I think really it was just like, I was saying one thing, I was communicating one thing, and you were hearing another thing. So then when I continued on with whatever I was trying to say, you just thought I was like gaslighting you because you're like, no, that's not what I heard.
Yep.
And another thing was that I was not able to look you in the eyes. Let's talk about that.
Oh.
Because
in the military,
Gina!
I was about to say, hey, Gina, don't mess with me.
Hi. Because Gina's, okay, Gina, can I say we know it? Hey, Gina, can I say we know this specific Gina?
Yeah.
She said hi in my last live stream and then she dropped off, but I didn't see it before. So anyways, I'm trying to right a bunch of wrongs in this live stream. This is not scintillating. This is, not very concise. We're trying, guys. But like, hi, Gina. Mwah. Love you, girl. Okay, so let's go on, like, with the lack of eye contact issue.
So I grew up in the military where you make eye contact, and that's like a requirement. Like when my dad asked us questions, it was required to make eye contact, and she doesn't. She can't. She can for little spurts. But when you're having a heated discussion or argument, it is very like insulting to have somebody look away from you, because it's either they're trying to think of a lie or they don't really care about what you're saying. And that hit me in a different way as a dad and a husband that it would have, like, I wouldn't have done that to my dad. That would have been a bad thing.
Bad thing. So lack of eye contact is oftentimes misunderstood as being untruthful or like a lack of intimacy. And so there would be a lot of time. So I can hang on a second.
Got lots.
Yeah, Shiny Nickel said, I only found this video because there's a party going on next door and I desperately needed a different sound in my ears. I do that too, Shiny Nickel. When there's a party going on next door, it is the most annoying sound to me in the world. I saw Orion's post and here I am. Orion, did you post something about this? I appreciate it, man. If you did, thanks a ton. That means a lot to me. So going back to the whole eye contact issue, it's seen as if you're looking somebody in the eye that you're telling the truth, or as a form of as like a sign of intimacy, like you hear about in all the movies, like you look somebody in the eyes if you love them. And so when I was unable to look you in the eyes, that was hard for you because you just thought like I was like falling out of love with you or something. Because you noticed it a lot and you just thought like, what is our intimacy level? Like if you can't even like look at me. The thing is that I can look at people when they're talking. I can't when I'm talking because it's so distracting that I can't think about what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Orion. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry, dude. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. You're awesome. You're such a freaking awesome friend. I really appreciate that. Um, so yeah, the lack of eye contact, we really struggled with that, which all made sense after my diagnosis.
Yeah. I
And
feel like that happened more frequently in intense or deep conversations when you wouldn't make eye contact because I was trying to connect and you felt disconnected for me.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's a whole lot of implications that is carried with lack of eye contact. Um, and then another thing was that I was a little bit less emotional and
A lot, a lot less
a lot
emotional.
less emotional. And that is really difficult, especially when you're a female, because females are expected to be a lot more emotional and a lot more, motherly and a lot more, physically touchy. And I am physically touchy for an
Yes,
autistic. Like you have said several times that you're very glad that I'm not like lack of physical
because that
affection.
is one of my love languages is
Yeah.
physical touch.
Yep.
And if it wasn't there, it would be a struggle.
Yep. So that but so there's one of the things that we kind of discovered in how, because we're part of a lot of neurodiverse relationship Facebook groups, and there are relationships that just absolutely blow up in there because a lot of the times it is a neurodiverse male and a neurotypical female. And what happens in that is that there is like an absolute like displacement of emotional regulation. I'm not sure if that's what you would call it, but because females are naturally more emotional, especially when you are a neurotypical, and this is general terms, guys. Please, nobody come after me. Don't send me angry emails. We're just talking about like typically neurotypical females are much more emotional.
Mhm.
And neurodivergent guys are much less emotional than the average
Appear.
appear. Good catch. Thank you. Appear much less emotional than the neurotypical guy. So what you have when you have the NT and ND relationship in that gender roles is that it's like severely mismatched because the girl wants touch and affection and
Validation
she
and
wants
words of affirmation
words of
and
affirmation, and she wants you to know what she wants for Christmas, and she wants you to ask how her day is, and she wants you to anticipate her needs, and she wants you to um you know, hug her and touch her and ask her how her day is, all these things. And if you're, a neurodiverse male, you're less likely to do that. So, but you and I are like a little bit more even keel because I'm a little bit more like a dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
So
explain it, you
that's
guys.
where I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells catering to your needs, is because you're not like heightened emotionally like a neurotypical woman would be. Like the drama in your daily life from girlfriends or like meetings or whatever doesn't affect you the same way that it would a neurotypical woman.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I don't feel like I would be walking on eggshells because we are so even keeled.
Yeah. And obviously, neurodivergents have a lot of emotions. We just don't show it the same as everybody else. But so I mean, obviously we can all kind of talk about where the whether gender differences come from like nature versus nurture, and I know that that's a whole debate, but I do think that there is some typicality and the differences in how that kind of works out. And so what I'm trying to say is that in these Facebook groups we see a lot of neuro, like when it's the male that's the neurodiverse and the female that's neurotypical, a lot more of those blow up, unfortunately. And somehow this works, I
I
think.
I feel like it comes down to the parent-child dynamic. A lot of the stuff that I've listened to from Jody and Mark talk about that parent, like you can parent your kids, but you don't want to parent your spouse.
Right.
And there is a inherent difference in a father caring for his children and a husband caring for the safety and security of his wife that kind of offset that and make it not as apparent. Like I don't parent her. She has her own stuff. She asks me questions throughout the day and I'll answer them. But generally, like I like to call her a scrappy baby because she is. She does her thing. She manages our Airbnbs,
Our
our
finances and
finance,
everything
all of our
else.
finances. I don't touch them. I just spend money on food. I like
And
food.
I mean, I'd hate to say this, but this is true to a lot of neurodivergence, is that there's a certain degree to where we are so um like if everybody disappeared, we'd just be okay in a certain sense.
Hmm.
But we still need human connection. So, you know, eh, that's a whole thing, like that's kind of difficult to talk about. Like I try to be real on this channel and talk about things that maybe a lot of people are shy away from saying and kind of like saying out loud. But the truth of the matter is that there's probably a lot of neurodivergence out there that if their partner left or something happened there, that it might be less catastrophic in some ways because we are just so in our own heads and isolated in a lot of regards that is different from how a neurotypical operates,
Hmm.
but at the same time, there would still be a huge loss felt, obviously if we lost our partners because we still need that human connection. But it's weird because there's this weird balance. Like I hide away in my bedroom
Mhm.
a lot of times our
Mhm.
bedroom. And you are totally cool with that now. You used to think I was like running away and didn't want to
Yeah.
be with you. Now you understand that that's a need for alone time.
Yeah.
But obviously we still need that human connection, but there's this weird balance of like we need alone time and that we are more isolated in our own little worlds. And it's tough.
Mhm.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Stan Byford, I don't get money. I get $25 every 2 weeks, so $50 a month that goes into a very specific account of mine that I can buy Nerd Yoda shirts all that I want, and she can't say anything. Like that's what I get. My job does afford us a very adequate lifestyle that like we're very simple. We don't have a boat. We don't have forerunners. We don't like we have like
And we both used to work.
2016 and 2019 vehicles. I have a company car that I drive. So we both work because she does all our Airbnbs and all of our it's interesting. She does all our social engagement stuff and I go to work and yell at people about nuts and bolts.
Stan, no, 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 you little jokester. You cannot have all the coffee back. Nope. Nope. I'm going to drink it too quickly.
I couldn't get we have to stop for coffee every day in the morning.
M Trin. I am Tyin. M Tyron. Thank you. I haven't seen you around here, but I haven't seen you around these parts before. Okay, so what things do you do now to meet my needs? What do you think you do to meet my needs?
I give the big one is I give you processing time.
Mhm. When you used to view that as me running away and not wanting to
I mean,
conversate.
I have done a lot of work on myself um to separate some of the anger stuff that I got from my dad and my childhood and just kind of let that go. Like it's not conducive to being in a relationship with people. Um, so I've done a ton of work on myself to get to the point where I can give you processing time, and it doesn't make me angsty. It doesn't like you need it.
Processing time is a huge one, and you're also patient with me when I need to, like, rearrange the pillows when we have some place to
I
be.
mean, I don't care about that stuff. Like if it's someplace so if it was something that I absolutely had to be at a certain time, I would lead in the respect of get up at a certain time, get everybody else up at a certain time, and I would have communicated that days before, the night before, like multiple times, because it is kind of for you and Ethan, it is kind of like it's not right now, so it's not now.
And you're more patient with my need
Oh
for
yeah.
alone time.
Yes. Well, so there was a whole whirlwind of social engagements that were going on in that time before you got diagnosed that just kind of catalyzed. Um, you had friends, I had friends. They weren't necessarily the same friends, and my attention versus your attention, like there was just a lot of uncomfortable where do we stand before you were diagnosed that scared me.
Well, yeah, because I guess to try to sum it up, you guys have to like think about how women are supposed to be like more touchy feely, more motherly, more emotional,
Mhm.
looking you in the eyes, not running away from conversations, and I was not any of those things, and you were seriously, before my diagnosis, you were worried about all of those
Well,
things,
because
meaning that I was
from a
like,
neurotypical standpoint, that's you being checked out. Like that's how that looks.
okay, everybody's asking that I remove tarot. I'm not sure why,
Tarot's
but
just copying, pasting everything. Somebody else already said that. Like standard.
sorry guys.
Somebody's getting
Just remove. Okay.
bye tarot.
I think I
You're not
removed
gonna miss me.
tarot. All right, so what are some of the unique challenges of having a neurodivergent spouse?
What are say that again?
What are some of the unique challenges of having a neurodivergent spouse?
Oh,
Hi, fur slippers.
the
Sorry.
youthful behaviors. Um,
Challenges? That's a benefit. What are you talking about?
well, in a public environment, it might seem predatory on my part. Like
Yeah.
I'm already 8 years older than you, and you
8
have
years?
pink hair. You have pink hair, and you dress in Forever 21. Um, there is a, I guess society would look at it, and people are going to say whatever they're going to say. I don't care. I don't know you. Um,
Well, I know a bunch of people are like power dynamics and blah blah blah, but that's not the case with us. I do think that there are some issues with like a child to a parent.
yeah,
You sometimes become my punching bag because you're my safe space, and so I kind of like
but I deal with that at work. So
you do, but I you know
I enjoy feeling like somebody people can come to when they're hurting and when they're struggling.
yeah, but I struggle all the time, every
You're
day.
not the only one. That lots of people struggle.
Life is hard. What do you wish I could do to better support you?
I can't think of anything.
I could it's
So
that's
my
really
two love
sweet.
languages are physical touch
Yeah.
and time. And
And
the
I've
only thing
taken
that
away
we have
time.
had issues with is time.
Mhm.
And I've learned that you aren't responsible for my happiness.
That took us a while to get there.
And so I can find things that make me happy to spend time doing as long as I can communicate to you, hey, on such and like Father's Day, she wants to do a lot on Father's Day. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna clean chicken coop and whatever. Um, I don't want it to be a big thing because I just came back from a 4-day trip with some of my guy friends. We went to Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, and Mount Rushmore all within like 4 days. It was a lot. So I just need some decompression time, some chill time. And I'm not looking to do a crazy Father's Day, but she wants to spoil me. She loves me. And that's kind of how she shows me she loves me.
Yeah.
But I don't think outside of that timepiece that there's a different issue. And I've learned
You don't wish I was like more touchy-feely with you, more like looking you in the eyes, more emotional, like, you know,
it varies day to day. There are some days when like I would prefer that, but you do make eye contact. It's not like you don't ever. If you didn't ever, that would be an issue.
yeah.
Um,
You don't wish I was like more emotional. more.
No.
More.
If you could have a dude's mentality in a partner and be even keel with you, for the guys out there, or for the neurodiverse women out there, to have an even keeled partner that is like equally on your level of like, this isn't important emotionally. I feel like that works really, really well. That I do worry sometimes because like you've lost both of your parents and I've lost two dads. My mom's still kicking.
But I didn't really like
You didn't.
react.
No.
Yeah.
And I was very worried.
You were worried.
Very worried.
But this was before my diagnosis again. So there were definitely a lot of misunderstandings that my diagnosis absolutely cleared up. Um, so we have been going for about an hour, and I so appreciate all of you guys being here. Gina, if you're still here, that was awesome to see you. Curves Ball, Stan, and Steven, again, like, I'm so glad that you hopped on and you weren't too pissed off at me for like misunderstanding your sarcasm. And Furry Slippers, all you guys, and Orion, oh my gosh, thank you for posting this on your community page. So I do want to kind of end with a couple of things, and that, like, first of all, that no two relationships are going to look the same. And again, like I said, we're not experts. But he did have a great idea. He did want to open up the avenue for people to ask questions that are channel members, because this is so sweet. Like, you want to support, like, the fact that I have channel members. So if they're I don't know how we're going to work this exactly, but we are probably going to do a second one that's either for channel members only, or answering, primarily like questions that channel members have asked. And we could talk about like a lot of the relationship strategies that we have, parenting strategies, because we have an autistic son. Whatever. So if you're a channel member, please ask some questions, and we will either do an exclusive video, or we will make sure that we answer your questions first and maybe do another video. And again, like I said, I appreciate all of you guys being here. So I guess until next time, if you guys haven't liked the stream, please do so. And I appreciate all you guys being here. So yeah, say goodbye to everybody.
Stan, I would have brought chickens, but I was told that that's not allowed. I do bring chickens in the house all the time.
All the time. Okay, bye guys. Mwah.
Bye. Mwah.
We love you.
We love you all.
We'll talk to you later.